Whether you believe this story or not, it is completely up to you. Some of us believe in the occult, some of us don't, but I need this to be off my chest.
My name is Shane, and this is my story about my crush turning out to be a demon.
As I sit here, a grown man with the weight of years on my shoulders, I can't help but cast my mind back to a time when innocence collided with the sinister in the twisted corridors of my middle school years. This is a story that has haunted me for decades, a tale of nightmares and a girl named Emily, the girl who appeared to be an angel but hid a demon behind her innocent eyes. The year was 1998, and I was just a kid navigating the tumultuous waters of middle school. Life was a blend of awkwardness, friendship, and the impending doom of adolescence. However, there was something far more insidious lurking beneath the surface of my seemingly ordinary existence. It all started with the nightmares. Every night, without fail, my mind would plunge into a realm of darkness, shadows, and eerie whispers. I found myself trapped in a maze of twisted corridors with no way out, chased by an unseen force that seemed to feed on my fear. The nightmares were relentless, a nightly torment that left me exhausted and terrified when the morning light finally broke through. I struggled to maintain a facade of normalcy during the day. In class, I doodled in the margins of my notebook, my mind wandering back to the haunting dreams that clung to me like a malevolent specter. It wasn't long before my sleep-deprived state began to affect my daily life, and my grades plummeted as my focus waned. In the midst of this turmoil, there was one bright spot: Emily. She was the embodiment of everything good in the world, or at least that's how it seemed. Emily had a smile that could light up the darkest corners of my mind, and her laughter was a melody that momentarily chased away the shadows. She was my crush, the girl who unwittingly became my anchor in the storm of nightmares. But as the saying goes, appearances can be deceiving. One day, as I gazed across the classroom at Emily, I noticed something that sent a chill down my spine. It was just a fleeting moment, a fraction of a second when her expression shifted. Her eyes, those seemingly innocent pools of warmth, darkened for an instant, and a cold shiver ran down my spine. I dismissed it as a trick of the light or a figment of my overactive imagination. After all, how could the girl of my dreams be anything other than perfect? But the seed of doubt had been planted, and my fascination with Emily began to take a sinister turn. As the days passed, the nightmares intensified. The dark corridors extended their tendrils into the waking world, casting shadows over the hallways of our school. I couldn't escape the feeling that Emily was somehow connected to the malevolent force that haunted my dreams. One evening, as I sat alone in my room, the weight of my nightmares pressing down on me, I made a decision. I had to confide in someone who could help me make sense of the madness that had engulfed my life. But who would believe a kid rambling about demons and nightmares? The logical choice should have been my parents, the pillars of support in my young life. However, a gnawing doubt held me back. How could I articulate the inexplicable terror that gripped me each night? Would they dismiss my fears as mere childhood fantasies? So, I chose silence. Days turned into weeks, and I continued to bear the burden of my secret. Emily remained blissfully unaware of the storm brewing within my mind. Our interactions, once a source of solace, became a source of dread as I oscillated between adoration and suspicion. The breaking point came during a school trip to an old, abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. The dilapidated structure was rumored to be haunted, a perfect setting for a bunch of curious middle schoolers seeking a thrill. As our group explored the creaking hallways and echoing chambers, I felt a familiar sense of dread settle over me. And then, in the dim light of a long-forgotten ballroom, I saw it. Emily's reflection in a cracked mirror betrayed a truth that shattered the fragile illusion of normalcy. The demon that lurked beneath her angelic facade revealed itself, a twisted, grotesque creature with eyes that mirrored the darkness of my nightmares. In that chilling moment, the lines between dream and reality blurred, and the nightmares that haunted my sleep manifested before me. I stumbled backward, my heart racing, as the others continued their exploration, oblivious to the horror that unfolded in the shadows. The demon within Emily turned its gaze towards me, its malevolence cutting through the air like a knife. It whispered words that clawed at the edges of my sanity, promising a fate worse than the nightmares that had tormented me for so long. Terrified and desperate for escape, I fled the mansion, leaving behind the echoes of demonic laughter that lingered in the air. The nightmares, once confined to the realm of sleep, now bled into my waking hours. The school, once a place of learning and camaraderie, became a battleground between the supernatural and the mundane. As the days passed, the sinister presence within Emily seemed to grow stronger. It manipulated the minds of those around her, casting a spell that clouded their perception of reality. Teachers, friends, even my own parents. They all succumbed to the subtle influence of the demon that wore Emily's face. I became an outcast, a pariah in the eyes of those who once stood by me. The weight of isolation and the ceaseless torment of nightmares pushed me to the brink of madness. Desperation clawed at my soul, and I knew I had to confront the demonic entity that had infiltrated my life. With a courage born of sheer desperation, I sought the help of a local occultist, a mysterious figure rumored to possess knowledge of the supernatural. Together, we delved into ancient texts and forbidden rituals, seeking a way to banish the demon that held my life in its grip. The night of the exorcism arrived, and I stood on the precipice of uncertainty. The occultist chanted incantations that reverberated through the air, attempting to pierce the veil between our world and the demonic realm. The atmosphere crackled with energy as shadows danced on the edges of perception. And then, with a gut-wrenching scream that seemed to echo from the very depths of hell, the demon was expelled from Emily's form. The air, once heavy with malevolence, lifted, and the nightmare that had ensnared me for so long began to dissipate. Emily lay unconscious, her features returned to the innocence that had initially captivated me. The aftermath was a blur. Explanations, disbelief, and the slow process of rebuilding shattered relationships. The demon's influence had left scars on the minds of those who had fallen under its sway, and my role in the events that unfolded was met with skepticism. As the years passed, the memories of that harrowing time faded, but the scars remained. I sought solace in understanding the supernatural, becoming a student of the occult to comprehend the forces that had turned my adolescence into a waking nightmare. Now, as I reflect on the distant echoes of that dark chapter, I am left with a profound truth. The supernatural exists, not as a distant fantasy, but as a shadowy undercurrent that weaves through the fabric of our reality. The nightmares that haunted my youth were a testament to the thin veil that separates the seen from the unseen, the known from the unknown. To those who may read my tale with skepticism, I implore you to consider the possibility that there are forces beyond our comprehension, lurking in the corners of our existence. The supernatural is not confined to the realms of fiction. It is an enigma that defies rational explanation. As I close this chapter of my life, I carry the weight of the supernatural on my shoulders. The boy named Shane, who battled demons in the hallways of his middle school, has become a man who embraces the mysteries that lie beyond the veil. The nightmares may have faded, but the echoes of that otherworldly encounter resonate in the recesses of my memory, a testament to the thin line between reality and the supernatural.